Yeah. So just waiting for Evan O'Connor to join the episode.
He's gonna show up.
This is Real Conversations, and my name is Jacob O'Connor. I'm your host. I'm here with John Peterson today.
What's up, guys?
And we're doing kind of like a part 2 or part 3 to my 50-mile ultramarathon. And we've got my cousin Evan O'Connor who ran with me. Just waiting for him to show up.
Oh, here he comes now.
Wait.
Oh, look at.
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah, no.
What a guy.
How you doing, cousin?
Good. We're out here doing it.
Yeah, you're in Wichita.
I'm in Wichita. Wichita is actually really cool. I've enjoyed the city so far.
What do you like about it?
It's nice and flat. You know, for the sake of running, flat is always appreciated. It's a really old downtown from what I've seen, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Evan, I kind of want you to take the reins in this episode because I did the episode where I did my recap and my version. John kind of interviewed me a little bit.
Sure.
And you left a comment on the Instagram page, a little salty nonetheless.
Kind of passive aggressive.
Yeah, he pretty much said, "Hey, I was there too, completely omitted from the recount, but I responded back to you. You're gonna get your time in the spotlight, and so here you are, dude. The people want to hear you. It's been the most requested episode I've had this week. What did you take away? What did you feel? What do you think about the 50? Like from the moment, the inception of us doing this into training and in the actual run. I mean, just
Yeah. So the idea,
wow. Okay, we lost audio for a second. We're back.
Okay. So from the idea beginning to start for the run, instantly I was hooked on the idea. Like we mentioned it and we had to kind of figure out some logistics before signing up, but it was pretty much a guarantee right from the get-go. Initially, I think we both thought that it wasn't as feasible as what it ended up being. I was definitely scared for a solid week or two until my first longer training run went in, and then I was feeling pretty good.
I think we had real concern, but I think it was good because it kind of forced me to take it more seriously and to take the necessary steps to make sure I was prepared.
Yeah, definitely.
Had you run marathons before?
Yeah, so I had the year prior, I did a marathon. Same sort of deal. I signed up. It was like 2 weeks before the marathon, and that was not a pretty sight.
Are you gonna bring up the guys carrying the canoe?
Yeah. All right. So I guess I have to know. So the race was in Ely, Minnesota. Basically, it's in Canada. And part of the race, because this is that was an area where lots of lakes are out there, and portaging is very common. So for those of you who don't know, portaging would be when you carry your canoe from one lake to another if they don't connect. And so part of the marathon up there was running the marathon with a canoe, like basically on top of your head. And so I definitely got passed by guys running a marathon with a canoe on their head. That was pretty humbling.
How many people were carrying the canoe?
There were quite a few carrying the boats.
Fair enough.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
And the logs.
Boat crew too. We love David Goggins. He should be coming on here just a couple episodes.
Love to be there for that one.
Yeah, no, that's actually a bit of a long shot. Do you think of yourself as a runner? This is something that I think about a lot. I know that you have different seasons with your career. You like to lift. How do you think of yourself?
So I still really don't feel like I'm a runner. I'm getting to the point where I am like starting to tell people that I run, but I still don't feel like a runner. I don't know when that happens or how far I have to run before I feel like a runner.
You have to buy Hokas, and then you can consider yourself.
Then I'm a runner.
Yeah, you're a runner then.
Yeah, I'm not a runner then.
I almost feel like for us, it's like, okay, this is so cool because we're not runners.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of like adapting to this, but like, no, I don't view myself as a runner. I just view myself as an adrenaline junkie, you know?
Is a slight psychopath. I think anybody from the outside would look at us and say, oh, you guys are definitely runners. But I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I think running a 50-mile ultra marathon might qualify us.
That might do it.
So you start training. I mean, what did you have to change up about your lifestyle? Maybe mention a little bit about what you do for a career and maybe how that plays into it.
Yeah, so during the summer months, usually from May to October, I'm working out west as a wildland firefighter, running into the fire, just getting after it. And so that really doesn't provide you any time at all to train, either lifting or running. And so from the idea of this run, I think that came about mid-October. I was already back home. Our season was done. And at that point, I was helping harvest on the family farm. And so I was still working like 12-hour days doing that. And then at the end of the day, I'd have to put in a nice long run to start training for this.
Diet, anything change with that?
I had to consciously eat a lot. I mean, we were expending a lot of energy on the daily training for this. So.
Yeah. I think the weird thing was we didn't have a great like guide system. It was more of us following our gut, trying to read online blogs. And it was literally like people would ask me, what's your training plan this week? Why are you doing that? And I was like, Evan and I text each other every Sunday and we say, A, how are you feeling? B, what do you think we should do this week? And then we pretty much average out the numbers that we say and we do right in the middle for our training program.
And honestly, I think that worked pretty well for us.
I do. I agree with that because I think that some weeks I'm more conservative, like, hey, we shake it easy. And other weeks you're more conservative, and it kind of balanced out really well to keep us healthy, but also pushing ourselves for training.
Yeah, that's a hard line to flirt with, the line between like pushing yourself constantly to grow mentally.
Yeah.
And then physically also like balancing recovery.
Oh yeah. That's the worst. Cause like even the week before, 2 weeks before, we're tapering before the race. And so we're not running and doing what we had been doing. It's like, no, man, like you're better in this. Go out there, get some, get after it. But it's like, no, you're saving up all your energy for the run. And that was really hard for me.
One of the things I thought was very interesting during this taper. So before the race, we significantly cut miles, basically to nothing, to let our bodies get one final deep heal in. And I went out for a run on a Sunday after not running for about 5 days, and my body absolutely rebelled. There were so many aches and pains, and it felt like I had never run before. It was so weird. My body just.
Were you a little worried?
Yeah, I was like, I can't do it. I forgot how to run.
So during my training, I mentioned I'd gotten sick whenever we were like in the bulk of it. And so I wasn't able to run for like a week or a week and a half. And so I had missed the big run. You did like a marathon or something for your big run?
Yeah, about 28.
Yeah, 20 miles. And so I ended up going out for 30, but it was like a week after you did it, right before we were supposed to start tapering. And my body didn't recover super well from that. So going into the run, I was like, oh no, I ran too far too late in the training. So I guess I have a clip I'm going to play in a little bit from the morning. Do you remember me recording this on our way there?
Yeah, I remember you recording it. I really have no idea what I said, so this will be interesting.
I know, I'm excited to get back to it too. But I'd like to kind of like you to share more of your experience, because this is something that we are brand new to. We've never had experience. There's people listening who probably want to push themselves in some capacity, whether it's a marathon or an ultra or something. And I'd love to hear like leading up to the race the week before, just like the excitement, the worries, like all the stuff going through your head, and then us actually meeting up and then going down to Vienna.
Yeah. So, just the feeling of having to be completely focused in on something, basically in all aspects. So recovery, prioritizing sleep, good nutrition, and most importantly, the training. That's just a really good feeling to be so dialed in 100% on something. Not something I really expected, but something that I crave to have more of. So that was just kind of in general throughout the whole training period. The week before, we really weren't running, so it was a lot of just kind of nervous energy of, okay, is there going to be some surprise injury that'll pop up last minute that's just going to shut down the race? There's just so many variables. We really didn't have plans finalized for like lodging or any of that before.
We were planning to camp.
We had hoped to camp. I'm sure we were both watching the weather for the night before and the race day very vigilantly, and it kept getting a lot colder, more chance of precipitation. So that was very worrisome. So then it was 2 days before the race. Jacob, or Scoob, and I met up.
I was going to say, who's Jacob?
Yeah, he goes by Scoob.
Family nickname.
So Scoob and I met up. went for a short run. I think we did 2 miles, then walked a mile.
Yeah.
Just, I think we both really wanted to run fast. Oh, yeah, we were moving pretty fast.
Like move a little bit closer to you.
Okay, we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Small technical difficulty on my end.
Well, when it's your first time with the mic, like you don't know how to like. Anyways, back to the run. 2 miles, then we walked.
Yeah.
This was in Columbia. You came down from Kankakee down to Columbia, Illinois.
Correct. Yeah. So that was only about a 4-hour drive for me, which really wasn't bad. Came down with my mom, who was part of our aid station crew.
Shout out to Aunt Gina.
Shout out to Mom.
Actually, shout out to Uncle Bud because he was my crew.
True. So yeah, we went for that run. We were really holding back the whole time. We spent a lot of time stretching that next day. We stretched for probably hour and a half.
I found out, even though I did yoga for a long time in the beginning of 2022, I found out how bad my flexibility has gotten since then. Whenever I was stretching with you.
Yeah, we stretched a lot. We used massage guns heavily, lots of foam rolling, and we slept a lot. The most enjoyable part, and this is why I would recommend running ultras to anyone, is you really need to aggressively carb load.
Aggressive.
Very aggressive.
It's your duty.
By any means necessary. So I think that was enjoyable for both of us.
Yeah, we were eating a lot before. And I really like my focus on diet improved greatly during this. And like the week before, everything was just so clean. I was having salmon and rice or ribeye and rice and just like really trying to keep it super clean. I went to like an organic vegan restaurant with John. That was an experience. I ate a salad. I got a salad.
It was weird. I had turkey burger or something. It was good.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, me eating a salad.
I don't know.
Was it a good salad?
Honestly, I felt good about it. Yeah. Had like nuts and stuff in it. I was like, what is this?
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
Okay. Yeah. So we, needless to say, we enjoyed the carb loading and before that, the clean eating.
Yeah.
And then we went down the night before, stayed in a hotel in Vienna, Illinois, which is where the race was. We had a pasta dinner, which was kind of fell short of expectations. It was pretty watery spaghetti.
It was cool though. I thought the experience was cool.
It was cool just getting to talk to some of the people. There was just a lot of like pent up energy in that room.
Building. Yeah.
It was so cool. We talked shortly to one girl who came down from Alaska to run here. She said that 30 degrees that we were running in really wasn't a big deal. We needed to man up.
And then us on the other end, because we were going to camp out, then the weather dropped like 32 degrees or something that night. And we were like, oh no. So we got a hotel. And we were worried about running in that cold of weather, air quotes. And then she just humbled us completely at dinner.
All right, we're fine. That night, sleeping. I don't even know if I could call it sleeping, more of just anxiously waiting. It was a very long night.
You slept because you got mad at me.
Okay, so I fell asleep at one point. I looked over and Scoob was like under the covers with his headlamp on, trying to read. But the sheet that he had over his head did nothing. So the room was like bright as daylight. It's an impressive headlamp. And I just punched him. I decked him like several times.
I was upset because I'm sitting there. I've got nervous energy. I can't sleep. I don't want to hop on my phone because of blue light, whatever else. And I'm just like, okay, I'll grab my book and I'll just read. And I put the cover over my head like you do when you're a little kid. And I feel something poke me. I'm like, oh, Evan's probably just like rolling over. We had to share a bed because we were all sharing a room together. And I was like, okay, well then like moved my angle a little bit, tried to like make sure that the light was contained. At least I thought it was. And then I felt another little poke and I was like, okay, maybe he's trying to tell me something. And then 30 seconds later, he flat out just sucks me in the arm. And I was like, what the heck?
The best part of this is that I made sure that Jacob understood that he couldn't punch me before the race because I needed needed my body to be in full recovery mode. And then I just sucked.
That took a lot of willpower.
Yeah. So thank you for not hitting me back.
Oh, dude, I was frustrated. I went to bed mad that night. Anyways, continue.
We woke up that next morning. It's kind of hard to remember. It just kind of flew by. I'm sure I ate something, drank water.
I feel like I didn't sleep at all, man.
It was crazy. We woke up, drove to the start of the race, and
oh wait, this is the time where the audio clip comes in. This is in the car on the way to the race.
Okay.
And we, whenever we woke up, it was snowing outside and it had snowed during the night. We were like,
Probably like
oh
4
no.
inches.
Yeah, a little bit. And we were worried about ice. I mean, there was a lot playing into this. All right, let me find the clip here. I did a little like interview with Evan, I guess, maybe like a little 2-minute thing. And oh, here it is. Shawnee National Forest, 51 seconds. This was at, let me get you more info. Okay, here we go. It is 6 a.m., the morning of the Tunnel Hill 50 and 100 mile races. We run in approximately 1 hour, and I'm riding the car with Evan to Vienna State Park. And we woke up, and it's snowing a bit, and temperatures dropped to about 28 degrees. This was probably a bit unexpected. Evan, how are you feeling about this?
You know what? I'm out here just raising awareness for everything once again. And so really my why is going to push me through this foul weather. You know, we've got snow, wind, cold weather. We've got good running company and high spirits. So I'm confident that we'll finish. It's not going to be pretty.
Reminder to screen share the video of Evan raising awareness for everything for the reference point. All right. See you guys during the race. Okay, so I'm going to pause and pull up a video because I reminded myself, and I appreciate that.
That confidence was insane right there. That was fantastic.
All right, so we're back. I'm going to screen share here. If you guys are watching on Spotify or on YouTube, you're about to see some absolute gold that we'll explain real quick. Otherwise, you just have to listen to it.
Broke this carabiner as well, fortunately.
Okay, so what that was, if you couldn't see or hear it, Evan, we dug this hole one time while we were building a fort, and it rained and it filled with a bunch of water. It was supposed to be like our fire pit or something. We actually dug a really good hole.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it came up that Evan should stick his head in there. And I guess I'll let you kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So I was just really motivated that day to just raise awareness. I wasn't sure what to do it for. So I just decided to raise awareness for everything. I just thought that was going to be the most productive way to tackle it.
Yep.
And so naturally, after the idea came about, I started raising awareness for everything and dunked my head into this very nasty
It was disgusting.
pit filled with muddy water.
Yep. And then we did an ice bath while we were training, or before we were training. And he also raised awareness for everything in that video too. So you guys can watch that on YouTube or on Spotify. And then, but that goes with the clip because the last thing you said was that you were raising awareness for everything.
That was my why.
So yeah, we are full circle now.
Yep.
And you want to talk about like getting to the race and kind of that experience?
Yeah. So we pulled up to the race, got out. Pretty cool day. We were layered up pretty aggressively for a race. And we found a little museum to kind of hunker down in and stay warm. Ended up talking to this guy from Poland.
Yep.
And he came all the way to America, first time in the States, just to run this race. So that was a really cool experience. Yeah. I think that kind of just hit home for both of us, how unique of a community ultra running can be.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. I mean, first time in America, he chooses to go to Southern Illinois.
Yeah. It only gets better, man.
Yeah, seriously. But also that speaks to like the prestige of the Tunnel Hill race. That is a big race. You're wearing the merch, the hat. I've got the hat on too, but it's a Tunnel Hill Marathon 50 and 100. And it's a big race because it's one of the flattest races. And I talked about this in previous podcasts. It's one of the flattest courses there are. So it's easy to get PRs and world records. And so we had a lot of like the top runners in the world that showed up for this.
Many world records have been set on this course before. I think there was one new one the day that we ran it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I forget which one it is, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I know I was setting some PRs.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, we did.
Anyway, so we get there, we get warm, whatever, and then we're at the starting line. You want to kind of roll from there?
Yeah, so we're just kind of huddled in the middle of the starting line, middle of the pack. Lots of people around. I think there were about 700 that were running this race. Pretty big group. It's not a huge race, you know, if you're talking about major marathons, there's thousands.
Yeah.
So really not super big. I think, yeah, just lots of jittery people ready to go. We hear the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're ready to just tear off, like set a new mile best time. And it's just like a walk.
Congestion.
So much congestion. So we had to walk probably like 3/10 of a mile. Then we were able to get into a slow jog. And it took several miles before we were actually able to hit our pace. And just for reference of how we kind of tackled it, we weren't running a fast pace. It was about a 10:30 mile, and then we would run 3 miles and walk 1 at about a 14-15 minute mile pace.
Yeah. And I think I made this comment last time. I thought it was funny. There's this group of guys probably a little bit older than us, and we kept leapfrogging them. And we were like, hey, what's your guys' split you're doing? Like, why do we keep leapfrogging like this? And they're like, oh no, we're running most of it. We just walk whenever we need a little break or something. And we were talking like, you know, you guys got an experience, like what's your logic behind this? And he was like, oh yeah, we've done a couple, you know, like a marathon, a half marathon, whatever. And he just sounded so confident and sure. And he was like, you guys got to be careful, you know, your nutrition, you guys might not make it to the end or something like that. I never saw him again after the 27-mile mark.
Yeah.
I don't know that he finished.
I will say, I'll give credit to this guy. One of the things he said that I hadn't really thought about before was that once you get in a calorie deficit, you don't really get back out of it. So you have to stay on top of your calories while you're running.
That was a good point.
That was valid.
Yeah.
One of the first guys we actually talked to while we were running about mile 1 or 2, they were singing. What were they singing?
Oh, it was the Michael Jordan song.
Space Jam.
Yeah.
They
Fly like an eagle.
No.
Yeah, that was it.
Was it?
Yeah, fly like an eagle.
So they were singing that. And so we talked to them for just a little bit, and they were like, hey, you guys enjoy having that stuck in your head for the next 49 miles. Oh, great. This is a good way to start the day.
Yeah. We met a lot of great people, really cool stories. Santa made an appearance.
Santa was out there. I'm not sure if the guy was going for it, but he had started with green pants and a red jacket on. He eventually went down in layers and then had green shorts and a red pullover on. And he had a nice white beard. I mean, this guy was Santa.
Evan made the comment eventually, like, hey, I don't know if you're going for it, but
we ran up by him. I said, hey, I don't know if you're trying to do it, but you definitely look like Santa. He ended up walking with me for probably half a mile and told me a story about him being Santa.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But that's not what he was going for.
One of the most unexpected things ever. We got stopped by a train.
Yeah. So I think this was about mile 20.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yep.
We're feeling good. Nothing really had gone wrong up to this point. And we're kind of thinking, I think we're both thinking at that point that we could maybe get like a 12 or 11 hour race time, which is what we're hoping for. But we just needed to keep moving. We see this train coming and we're like, no way, this isn't real. So we just look at each other, don't say anything, and we just start sprinting. And I mean, we got pretty close. I looked at Scoob and I said, let's not risk it.
That's not true. I was going to go for it. I thought we could have made it.
So I looked at him and said, let's not risk it. And we stopped. I ran down the side of the trail to try to like crawl through a little culvert that went underneath.
Yeah, there's like a sewage pipe that was probably about 2 feet in diameter.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, whatever it takes.
He looked at me and did the look like, I mean, we could do it. And I was like, no.
But it ended up probably being 2 minutes. So there were 20 people that got stuck behind it with us. We talked to them and it was kind of fun. As soon as the train passed, we took off again. And that was kind of the start of a new race because we left all those people in the dust, which is kind of cool.
How are you, like an honest evaluation of how you were feeling, concerns you were having, worries, stuff, anything?
I didn't really have, I felt way better than I thought I should have. Miles 27 to 35 were kind of a grind.
Mhm.
Not a whole lot of talking. It was just, let's just keep moving. Not super enjoyable. Once we got past that, it just kind of flew.
I've been running with Quinn, who's episode I don't even remember what episode he was, but anyways, Quinn Robertson, and we talk for hours and hours while we run. And then I ran with you. You were so untalkative.
I was there to run.
For me, it's like a mechanism to pass time. It takes the focus off any aches or pains you might be having. And I'd like have sentence starters, whatever. And you'd just be like, yep, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then just like no conversation. I was like, oh my gosh. I was bored. I was honestly bored.
Going forward, I will be talking more. So you have that to look forward to.
I say, please do, man. I was so bored. We listened to like 3 hours of David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me audiobook.
That was what we needed. That was so good. People would pass us and be like, hey, that's a great book. Can't hurt me.
Goggins is so well respected in that community. Everyone was like, are you listening to Goggins? Like, oh yeah, you know it. Nice. All right. So continuing on, I guess, what other points, thoughts, what do you think of the aid stations?
The aid stations were very well set up. All the volunteers that came out, I mean, those guys were out there for like 30 hours. And they did a great job of getting some hot food for us. They had soups and sandwiches, lots of bars, water, Gatorade, whatever you could want.
And liquor. For some reason, liquor. I still don't get that.
Yeah. Scuba's just blown away by it, but they did have liquor at it. The marathon I did in Ely actually had full Bloody Marys for people.
Who in the world wants liquor or alcohol at that point? It just sounds so bad.
Yeah. All I wanted to do was finish and like get some clean socks on.
So I will say, it was kind of interesting because we knew that we wanted to share this moment so we could talk about it. Hopefully it inspires some of you guys, whatever. But we were kind of like taking pictures for each other in videos. And so not only are you locked in, focused on the race, but it's also like, hey, I got to run ahead so I can try and snag a picture or video for Evan. This will be cool for him to have down the road and vice versa. And that added an interesting element of like, it was almost like you were wearing 2 hats during the race.
Part-time videographer, part-time runner.
Your mom did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, she got some really sweet pictures of us. So one of the things I didn't really understand going into ultra running is that a lot of them you're able to have like an aid station crew.
Yeah. And
so we were able to see the aid station people I selected, which was just my parents. They know me best and my limits. They did try to get us to quit a couple times.
Yeah.
But I think going forward, that issue will be resolved.
I was going to say.
But they were able to like resupply us with the gels and shoes that we needed, water, whatever we wanted.
I got to say this. I love your dad. I love Uncle Bud.
Yep.
But after the first aid station, I'm sitting there getting changed. And he's like, you want an orange? I'm like, yeah, I'll take an orange. I put my hand out. He goes, no, open your mouth. And he puts the orange slice in my mouth. And from that point on, I was like, I'll put him on water too.
Yeah. I don't think they realized like how good we were still feeling.
I know. Every time our answers were like, oh, I'm 11 out of 10. I feel great.
Yeah. Mentally, we were still super alert. By the end, I mean, we're a little tired, but that's to be expected.
No energy drink. I was pleasantly surprised that we had brought caffeine as like an emergency, like just get me over the line. Never had to break it out.
Yeah. In some of the research, we'd seen a lot of runners like supplementing with small amounts of caffeine throughout the race just to keep them alert and motivated. And we never even had to whip out that special tool, which I felt really good about.
To be fair, I think some of the blocks may have had like a very small amount, but I'm not 100% sure. Some of the chews that I had, I don't know though.
Were you cheating on me?
Cheating on you.
Cheating. That's
unbelievable.
This is a strange term. I've never had so many salt pills in my life, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the salt pills, it's just a little pill that you would take. I think the recommended dose was 1 or 2 per hour, and it just contains the basic electrolytes you need. That helps so much. The first training run I had, I did 13 miles. Didn't really drink any water, didn't eat anything, no pills, and it was not pretty. The second training run, I went out for 16, had lots of water, salt pills, gels and chews, and I felt unstoppable.
It's a huge game changer. Such a big game changer.
That really like makes me think a lot more people are more capable than they think.
Yeah.
They just need to have like some solid nutrition advice and water. I'm pretty sure during the 50-mile race, I probably had about 200 ounces of water, so gallon and a half.
A lot. I fell in love with my Camelback during this.
Mhm, yeah,
Like I like to wear it even just like a 2 or 3 mile run, which is ridiculous, but like I love having it.
I don't know how to run without it, quite honestly.
I go to bed sometimes I'm wearing my Camelback.
It's just hugging you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know what it is we're talking about, it's basically just a little running vest that goes around, has a 50-ounce water reservoir with a long tube straw. So then you can just get a sip whenever you want. Got a couple pockets for whatever you would like to have with you.
Yeah, it's great. We should have worn them during the podcast. They could have
We
seen
should
it
have.
and we
Power
could have
move.
hydrated.
Mhm.
That would have been cool.
We talked today about just starting to wear them in the gym while we're lifting so we can stay hydrated.
Yeah, we are going down a slippery slope right now, but I might wear my vest just everywhere. Imagine having that, like you're going through airport, on the plane, whatever, like it having water on you at all times. It's so nice.
So the question is, would they count that as like a personal item, or is that just like a jacket?
I mean,
Should
do
wear-
they count your
Mm.
jacket?
Say you wear it underneath something and they'll never know.
Well, they're gonna go through security. Like, what the heck are these guys wearing?
After security, just throw it on.
we, have, we have a strange vest strapped on underneath the jacket.
We see a hose running from the back of it up to the chest. It actually would look really bad.
Yeah, let's maybe not do that actually.
Yeah. Okay. I guess more final remarks, thoughts on the run, words of encouragement, whatever.
The thing that surprised me most was just seeing like the vast array of people that were able to do it.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. There were like some, what I would suspect were some grandmas, some like 70-year-old women, 60s, 70s, whatever, and had their hair all done. They had their makeup on. They were just out there like power walking, talking the whole time about who knows what. And I'm pretty sure they were faster than us.
Yep. They beat us.
That was a good pill to swallow. It was hard, but it was good.
Yeah. There's this turnaround point at like mile 40-ish where like you can see the people turning around and you're just about to turn around yourself. And so you start to see who's ahead of you. And I vaguely remember this one older woman, maybe a grandma, who had her hair like super hairsprayed, like it was super stiff. It wasn't moving at all.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there with someone else and her hands are flying. They're speed walking, like, you wouldn't believe what my grandson said, like
Yeah.
that type of thing. And I'm sitting there, and you and I are like, what the heck is this?
That was a sight to see. The other crazy one for me, there was a guy who had to have been 70. He was running
Oh yeah.
just about perpendicular, like bent over from the waist. Just
I wonder if he finished.
he had to have. We saw him at probably mile 37, and yeah, so he was running super bent over, hunched over, and he was still just kind of cruising along.
We saw some concerning like running forms on
Mhm.
those back miles.
There were a lot of guys that had like solid beer bellies that you're like, if you just looked at him, you would think, all right, this guy's never run in his life. And they're just crushing us.
It's not a beer belly, man. He's carb loading.
It's carb loading.
He's strategizing.
For like 8 months before.
He had a 30 rack the night before in preparation.
He's a visionary.
I wonder what was in his Camelback.
Yeah. So I think kind of the final remark is that it's a lot more feasible than what I thought. I mean, it's still going to be hard and you have to get over some mental hurdles. But if you can accept that it's not going to be super pretty, I think just about anybody could do it.
I agree with that. I mean, we weren't going at world record pace.
No.
I would feel like the pace we were doing almost anyone could do.
Yeah.
And even if you're a minute or two per mile slower than us, you'd still finish.
Mhm.
And
With a pretty good time.
yeah. So I was happy with it. I love at the end that we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, we keep getting leapfrogged again. And we only have like a mile or two left. Like, let's just kick it into high gear, screw it, and finish really strong.
Yeah. Put on some Eminem that early in the morning before we started Scoop was like, hey, if we ever need to really grind, just throw this song on for me and we're good. I put it on. We took off. We're watching our pace time on the watch. And we started, it's like a 10:45 mile. Keep looking down. By the end, I think we were, what was it? Like
7:05 was the fastest split I saw.
yeah, we were running a 7:05 mile after 49 miles of running.
Yeah.
That was really cool. We were just passing people, taking their souls.
Yeah.
I just looked at Jacob. I said, let's go take some souls.
You sound like a dementor.
The worst part about prison is the dementors. So, I mean, we were just flying that last mile.
Yeah.
Somewhere before that mile 47, we were walking at that point, and I was like, hey, I think just the right move is we're not going to like sprint across the finish line. That's when an injury is going to happen. And we could see the finish line. We looked at each other. I kind of took a fast step.
I saw him take a fast step.
And so then he took a faster step. And before we knew it, we were sprinting across the finish line. And it was pretty hype.
I was fully prepared to finish the race with you like we did in Chicago.
Mhm.
And then I saw that fast step and I was like, he's
the
going to try and
challenge.
beat me last second. So
Yep.
we took off full sprint.
Yep.
And that is like the coolest picture that your mom took of
It
us
was,
across the finish line.
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
For the record, let's just get this all out there. Jacob his chest crossed the finish line a hair before I did. However, here's the catch.
Oh
to
my
that.
gosh.
You knew this was coming. You knew it was coming. The catch is that he crossed the starting line a step before I did.
Ooh.
Wait, I did not know that was coming. That's not true.
It is true.
Are we sure that's true?
We are sure. I distinctly remember that.
So he beat you in time.
No, our times are the exact same.
No, yeah,
because of that.
you look at the posting, we hit the exact same time.
Exact same.
Like even down to like the millisecond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically he crossed the finish line first, but we ran for the same amount of time. Which I think that's a fair way to end it.
Yeah. We're all winners, guys. Everyone gets a trophy.
No.
Yeah.
No
No.
participation trophies.
I beat you, cousin.
But we did get finisher belt buckles.
Oh, yeah.
Which is being displayed in the video.
Yeah. I was say Evan
Nice.
showing that off. What is next for you, for us?
I don't think anybody's gonna be surprised to hear this, but we will be doing 100-miler. Hopefully mid-January. More recently, tomorrow morning we will be starting 4x4x48, hopefully with John.
Yeah. I think, John, you should do it with us.
I might have to pass on this one, fellas. We'll see.
Just do it like once. Just one 4-mile section with us.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it basically.
We'll see.
So 4x4x48, again, developed by David Goggins. He's really become like our mascot or something. But you run 4 miles every 4 hours, 48 hours for a grand total of 48 miles that you've run. And we have a third camel pack, John. You have to join in.
We'll send.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it at that. Leave it at that.
He's not gonna do it.
I don't like that answer. I've heard that answer too many times.
So the interesting thing about 4x4x48, I think we both know we can cover that distance. The challenge is that you're going to be basically up for 48 hours. So
Yeah.
you're fighting a lot more mental fatigue. And also by stopping every 4 hours, your body has the time to try to start healing, which is when you get really stiff and sore.
Ooh, Bryce Lobb said that he wanted to do this with us because I've talked to him about it multiple times. I need to text him after this.
I don't know who that is, but I'd love to have him do it.
Did you not listen to the podcast, Bryce Lobb, Una Vida Tequila?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who that is.
Episode 7, 14, and
Yeah.
21
Yeah.
or 28. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
And 56.
In the
Future 56.
Yeah, future 56. I'm excited for it. Yeah, but you're right. The sleeping part is the weirdest because I did it one time and then I almost missed my like 4 a.m. or my like 2 a.m. run.
Yeah. You texted me and you were like, dude, I almost missed it.
It was bad. The worst thing, in my opinion, is like getting up in a rush whenever you're in the middle of like your REM cycle and you're like so disoriented.
Mhm.
Imagine having to get up so disoriented at 2 a.m., toss on shoes, and you're running before you're even awake. Like
And I'm sure you're stiff by that point.
you're stiff, and I was so nauseous, and it was like, oh, that was a rough 4 miles.
I have not done this challenge yet, but I'm very excited.
I think it'll be pretty easy because we'll be together. I think that'll make a big difference.
This idea to do it tomorrow morning was born probably 2 hours ago.
In the sauna.
Yeah, but it's official now. It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, we did a great sauna sesh. I guess we
Today?
could mention that.
It was
No,
pretty solid.
Oh, the other day?
the other day, I set a new personal record for how long I was in there. Evan, do you remember roughly what that number ended up being?
About 70 minutes.
No, it was more
It
than
was
that.
more than that.
All right, what do you want me to say?
I think it was 80 to 90, if I remember correctly.
3 hours.
I think it was
It was,
80.
it was not 90 minutes.
It was 80 minutes then, because
Sure. Okay, so it was 80 minutes, but then every 20 minutes we were getting out to take an
For
ice
2 minutes.
or a cold shower.
yeah, for 2 minutes. So who knows if the math works out? I was happy though. It was a
That's
long
good.
time I was in there,
Mhm.
and we had Quinn Robertson there. Quinn's been working out with us. Good
Yep.
for Quinn.
Awesome guy.
Yep.
That was
Uh,
the first I'd met him, and I'm a big proponent of the sauna. There's some research showing that it releases some cool chemicals or whatever. And basically it promotes really good conversation.
Yeah.
So that's an awesome place to meet somebody for the first time.
Yeah. There's actually Dr. Andrew Huberman did this little clip on Instagram that I saw. It actually does something to your brain where like the conversation is deepened, like you have some sort of new sense of awareness or whatever during it.
It's pretty much
I don't
what
have any
just
of that
said.
information. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you like the sauna, don't you?
I do like the sauna.
You
Yeah.
listen to the Huberman Lab podcast?
I don't.
I'd like to plug that right now. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, you need to. It's a good one. He goes really deep into the information. So it's hard to digest sometimes, but I find that his interviews with other people typically are easier to swallow that information.
Yeah, I need to listen. I need to listen in for sure.
So actually I talked about him in one podcast and then I posted it on Instagram and I tagged him. I was like, at Andrew Huberman, you should come on the podcast. He actually liked the message and reposted it.
Really?
And so I'm hoping that like if I can keep sending out some messages, because it's hard getting guests like that on here. If I keep being persistent with it, he would be a great episode to do.
When did this happen? Was it recently?
I can look it up, but it was probably maybe a month ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty recent.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be awesome.
I forgot about it until this moment, so I need to start following up.
And I do believe that you've had some positive encounters online with David Goggins. Is that correct?
Yes, I've had a couple reposts and story likes from
So
David
it's
Goggins.
unlikely, but it is possible.
Well, here's the thing. With enough time, all of this becomes very possible.
Mhm.
Like it's the same thing with the amount of downloads. Those grow over time. It's exponential. It's not a linear. So the same thing with guests. Like one day I've got Evan O'Connor in here. The next day I've got David Goggins. It's going to go by just like
What are you
that.
trying to say?
I'm trying to say that we just ran 50 miles in 11 hours.
So I think what he's trying to say is that by the time he has Goggins on here, I will have a better reputation than Goggins, and I will become the higher profile.
I don't know if that was insinuated,
I
but
think
yeah,
that's what he should have said.
You can take it that way.
All right. Yeah, that's
It's motivation, fuel for the fire.
fuel for the fire. Who's going to carry the boats?
Who's going to carry the boats? Boat crew too.
Bill Crew too.
Facts. That's all I get to say.
All right. I think we start wrapping this up. We got to go grocery shopping for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we currently have bread and protein shakes.
And some body armor.
That's not quite enough to run 48 miles.
Actually, maybe that's part of the challenge.
A 48-hour fast.
During 4x4 48.
It sounds terrible. It sounds like a terrible idea.
Anyways, I like to do at the end, like this new thing that I've heard from the Acquired podcast. Shout out to them. Carve outs is what they call it. But if there's anything you want to plug, like you shout out the Andrew Huberman podcast, if there's anything you want to plug, give yourself a shot. It can be first form, anything you're doing, whatever your life with Evan OC.
Yeah, well, okay. First off, I've got to plug my mom and dad for supporting me during
Yes.
this race.
We appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah.
Just giving you a hard
It's
time, Uncle Bud.
incredible.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, also you can go check out, I'm kind of starting a newer Instagram account. It's just Life with Evan OC. No spaces, no caps, nothing weird. And it's pretty cool. It's just a bunch of pictures from my adventures, and that will continue to grow.
They're such high quality
They're
pictures.
pretty sweet.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
I need to check it out. I haven't even seen it yet.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
It's great. Actually, no, let's go out. Is it public?
It is public.
All right, we're going to share it real quick.
Do you cut out these silences?
No, you guys keep talking.
Okay.
It's the
Evan.
sound of silence. That's actually one of my favorite songs to listen to when I'm running.
What?
Just running, and it's like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," and that just hits. It's so good.
I like to listen to Adele. Hello. That's like one of those songs. I'm just like, I gotta throw this. I have to.
So, John, do you enjoy running?
I enjoy running, but it's not my priority right now.
Sure.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
still on the goal to bench
315.
Yeah.
315, yeah.
Pretty solid.
So getting close, getting really close.
So
but
here's some of the pictures that Evan's posted. I mean, look at this. They're just incredible. This one, I'm still curious about, Evan. This is your car in the middle of the road. Did you stop driving and get behind your car and take this picture?
A true magician never reveals his secret. But yes, I did. I'm
Yeah.
not a magician.
So anyways, this is Life with Evan OC's Instagram. What is up with, it says Evan O'Connor ?
Is it Evan O'Connor? Nobody knows.
Well, the name is Life with Evan OC.
All right, I'll get rid of the question mark.
Okay. Well, anyways, it looks great. Very cool, cousin.
Thank you.
John, do you have anyone you want to shout out? Anything?
Shout out to my mom too. She's awesome.
Kim Peterson.
Yeah, Kim Peterson. Just shout out. Just, she's awesome.
You know what?
That's all I got. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
pretty cool.
respectable.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mom too. She's actually stopped listening to the podcast, so she's probably not going to hear this. But shout out to my mom. No, shout out to my Aunt Lynn, because I heard that she actually listens,
does.
even though my mom no longer supports me. And then also, if you guys enjoyed this, please share the link. It helps us grow, and actually means a lot to us. And I keep forgetting, and I mentioned last time, I have Venture Mentality hats still for sale. www.venturementality.com. You can find them there.
Hey, Scoob, I got one final question for you.
Okay.
What's your go-to song for running?
Not Afraid by Eminem.
All right.
Yep.
So there's the secret sauce.
Yep. That one, dude, no matter what state I'm in, my mile time increases by at least 2 minutes.
We don't even know what state of mind we were in then.
Delusion.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you guys. See you on the next
Yeah,
episode.
thank you.
See ya.